What is up, guys? JaretCampisi, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a first impressions and walk around of all the features on this 2018 Aprilia Tuono 1100 factory. God, that's a mouthful. Normally I do this in my first rides, but when I started looking at all the features of this motorcycle, I realized it was going to be way too much for one video. So in this video, I'm just going to walk around, talk about all the features, and that's going to be all it is. I'll put a link to the first ride in the description below once it's up. And if you don't know, this is the next custom build series bike we're going to be using. So we're going to be customizing this over the next couple of months. Then we'll be giving it away when we're done. If you guys want to help support these series and be entered to win this bike, check out the Patreon page. It's always the first link in the description below. Let's take a look at this beautiful, beautiful machine. All right, so I'm gonna be having the beautiful Miss Christina K helping me out here, like Vanna White, while I point out some of the physical parts of this motorcycle, and I figure we'll just start at the front end. So one of the most important, well, first of all, this is an Aprilia 1100 factory. So the factory model gives you this paint scheme, which some people like. I'm not a huge fan of it, but don't worry, we'll be fixing that, coming up with our whole own custom scheme, which we're working on right now. But the factory model gives you full Öhlins suspension. So you've got front and rear Öhlins suspension. You also have a steering damper, which is in there. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's right down there. And then you also get the full Aprilia RSV4 factory tail section, which is pretty awesome. So this bike is literally based on the Aprilia RSV4 1100, or RSV4 factory, not 1100. They have a new one that's this year. But so it literally is almost the Aprilia RSV4 with just like handlebars instead of clip-ons, and then a little bit less fairings on it. You know, it has a little bit of a different, smaller front fairing, and then it's got smaller side fairings. We're actually going to be putting on carbon belly panel, which connects all the way up to here and covers up some of this, just because I think it looks better. But yeah, it's a really impressive motorcycle, and I've been riding it the past few days, and it's really blown me away. But let's start with some features. First is the braking setup. This has Brembo M50 monoblock calipers. They're some of the best brakes in the game, but actually we're going to be replacing all of that. If you already saw our build series plan videos, you know that. But as they stand now, very, very good braking setup. They also have steel braided lines, and it even has a Brembo master cylinder as well, which again, we're going to be upgrading all of this stuff anyway. But in the back, it also has the Brembo system back here. And then it has that aluminum swing arm, and then it has this chassis right here, which is regarded as one of the best motorcycle chassis in the world. It really does handle absolutely incredible, and it's one of the most stable bikes in turns that I've ever felt. I think Teens needs to ride this thing at some point to see what she thinks. And then when you come into the electronics, that's where this thing gets crazy. So if you see this lettering right here, this Bosch, this is the IMU, so it has a lean angle sensor, and all of the electronics in the bike are tied to that. So when it comes to electronics, listen to this list, guys. Okay, wheelie control, traction control, launch control, cruise control, rider modes, and probably some other ones that I'm forgetting about that we'll take a look at in the dash once we get there. Isn't that ridiculous? And all of them are completely... I know, that's what I said when I started looking at it. I was like, this has to be a whole separate video because there's too much stuff to talk about. But here's what's crazy. This actually has an app that you can connect to the motorcycle, and then you can sit on your phone and adjust all those settings. And get this, teens, this is gonna blow your mind too. You can download, say you're gonna take this bike to a racetrack.
Download music?
You can, no, yes, you can do that too. You can download that racetrack onto the app. And you can literally change the settings for each turn of the racetrack. So say like one turn's a long sweeper and you want less traction control on that one, you can change the traction control on just that turn, so that whenever you're coming into that turn on the track on this bike, it will change the traction control for you. Wow. How crazy is that? And you can do the same thing with wheelie control and the launch control, all that kind of stuff. Isn't that ridiculous? So here, why don't you, oh, and then it also has a quick shifter, up and down quick shifter, which is right here, and it's freaking incredible.
You turn it on, you can show them the front.
Oh yeah, perfect, yeah. I'll show them actually, go ahead and turn the key there.
Twist, turn, twist.
Twist the key, turn the key. Like, look at that.
Boom.
Look at that dash.
I love that, the V4.
Yeah, it's really
Looks
cool that
really
they do
cool.
that. And actually, while I'm here, you can see it has a lean angle sensor. Like I said, that's tied into all the electronics. So, ABS, I forgot to mention, it has that as well. Has cornering ABS. And it's cool because they're all...
It has everything and anything you could possibly
It's ridiculous, yeah, and it's all tied into that lean angle sensor. So the bike knows what angle you're at, and it'll make adjustments based on when you're quick shifting, when the ABS kicks in, the traction control, all that kind of stuff will be different when you're leaned over than it is when you're straight up and down. And it's freaking crazy that it does that. It also has a brake sensor. You can see when I press the brakes, and then it has a throttle sensor. You can see, not stuff that you're really looking at, but it's just cool to have. And then obviously it's got the temperature of the motor, and then you can see all of your settings, different settings here. It only has 420 miles on it right now. I'm still finishing putting the brake-in miles on it. I'm currently in sport mode. The bike has to be on to change that. It's got sport, race, and track. And then here's ABS, wheelie control, launch control, and then traction control. Here's what's cool. So whichever one you have up here, you can choose. I think you can choose which one you put up here. I'm not positive about that. But you can change your traction control on the fly, and I believe anything else that's in this box. So check this out. See this, teens, right here? These buttons right here. First of all, they feel so good when you use them. It's like such a good, feel that.
Oh, it does.
Isn't that cool? So see when I'm clicking this button, so while you're riding, you can just change the traction control on the fly if you want to, just by clicking the thumb to go up and then clicking your front finger to go down. So the lower the traction control number, the less it interjects, and I've been running it around 2 because I like to pop the front wheel up now and then. And then here, teens, you want to go around and show them the headlights? Are they still on? Hold on,
No.
I think I have to turn the bike on. So I think the headlights are the only thing. I like the way that they're designed, but I think that they should be LED headlights. So they are daytime running, but they're not LED. And I'll show you what the high beam looks like. It goes into the center, which is pretty cool. You see it on the camera? Yeah. But I think that they should be LED at this point for a bike that comes in around $17,000. It's pretty expensive. Do you want to give them a little bit of a rev here?
Don't mind it, right?
Our designated rever. Just give it a couple small ones. Yeah, we'll let it warm up. All right, the bike is nice and warm. Give it some small revs here because we're in a development. That was a little too small. Yeah, so
And now everyone needs it.
it needs it's not that loud.
It's not. I mean, compared to the Exiavo, which you have had for a while.
Yeah.
That thing was
Ridiculous.
so loud.
But this motor, this V4, I didn't even mention 175 horsepower, 1100 cc. Actually, it's a 1077 cc. They just say they round up, I guess, for whatever reason. It's one of the best sounding motors I've ever heard in my life, but not with the stock can. So once we put on the full Acra system, it's going to be ridiculous. Yeah, full titanium system.
God.
Yeah, but it has a big can. It has a big carbon can on it, so it'll be quieter than the other ones. Yeah, but I might actually swap that carbon can for a smaller one later on in the series. Yeah,
like near the end.
We won't make our neighbors hate us.
Yeah.
So, I think that's all the features I wanted to go over. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to show you guys was just how you adjust the features. There's a little knob right here which goes like up and down and back and forth and then in. So if I go to my like ABS or whatever, I can just press it in. Once it's red, I can press. I can press up or down to change the level of each individual one. See, so if I go to wheelie control, I can do it that way. Or I can just go into the menu system, and then there's APRC settings. That's Aprilia control settings. So you got your ABS, your traction control, your wheelie control, your launch control, your quick shifter, which I don't know why anyone would ever turn that off.
You can launch this?
Yeah, it has launch control for like the track and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And then what's cool is, unlike a lot of other bikes, and you can even set your shift light. I have mine to come on at 12,500. This whole thing like lights up. You'll see that in the first ride video. It's really cool, man. It's a really impressive bike electronically. It's like insane, and it all works so well together. But the cool thing is the 3 different rider modes that the bike has: the sport, race, and track. the settings that you put them on, they stay wherever they are regardless of which mode you're in. So I believe the modes really only change probably the throttle response. I'd imagine sport is a little smoother, and then it gets more abrupt as you get into the track and race settings and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's a walk around and overview of the features of the 2018 Aprilia Tuono 1100 Factory. They really need to work on that name. Holy shit, it's long. But yeah, it's a really impressive bike. I've never loved the way that it looked, but after riding it, now I understand why everybody loves this bike so much. It's really, really impressive. The seat is roomy. You can slide around, move around on it. It's just, it's a really awesome bike, man. And I'm really excited for the series. So again, hope you guys learned something about the bike. If you have more information, drop it in the description below. If you want to be entered to win this bike, check out the Patreon page. That's always the first link in the description below. And subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel for more videos, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.